Let's just dive right into this explainer because we're going to do something incredibly useful today. We're taking a massive, raw list of everyday English sentences straight from our source material and transforming it into a highly practical, chronological survival guide for daily life. You know, when you're learning a language, staring at a giant wall of isolated phrases, it's completely overwhelming. But by putting these sentences into order, into a structured day, we're turning abstract vocabulary into this vivid, easy-to-follow map of your life. So here's the game plan. We'll be covering 1. Weather in the outdoors, 2. Daily household chores, 3. Navigating the train station, 4. Clothes shopping essentials, and finally, 5. Cooking and eating meals. Grouping these sentences into distinct daily scenarios like this gives you mental hooks. It just makes it so much easier to remember and actually use this essential vocabulary as you go about your day. Now, before we hit our first scenario, I want to point out a really fascinating detail right from the source material. You'll hear sentences like, the girl is kicking fallen leaves, the girl is kicking fallen leaves, and they're intentionally repeated. It's not a typo. It's actually a super powerful, proven linguistic technique. Hearing and visualizing the phrase twice just totally reinforces the grammar and the imagery in your brain. So keep that repetition strategy in your back pocket as we go through today's phrases. Section 1. Weather and the outdoors, starting your day. Let's move right to our first natural scenario, waking up, stepping outside, and figuring out what the world looks like today. First thing you do when you wake up, right? You check the weather. And stacking these short, punchy conditions really shows how fast you can build the vocabulary to describe literally any weather event. Notice the beautiful, simple structure here. By anchoring every single phrase with "it is," you instantly unlock this reliable framework. Whether it is sunny or it is hailing, you're completely covered. What's actually super interesting here is how the source material highlights the evocative, almost poetic nature of everyday English. We aren't just saying, "it rains." The source gives us this vivid imagery. He is catching raindrops with his hands. Or, the child is blowing bubbles in the park. These aren't just dry vocab words. They're like these little cinematic moments that make the English language feel totally alive and deeply human. Section 2. Daily household chores. Maintaining your space. Moving back indoors, let's explore the essential, action-oriented vocabulary you need for taking care of your home. This contrast perfectly illustrates the subtle shift between the lively language of active play and the focused, orderly vocabulary we use for chores. I mean, when we're outside, the adverbs reflect all this freedom, spinning around happily. But the second we cross the threshold to do chores, the tone shifts completely to precision and care. I am folding my clothes neatly. Picking up on tonal shifts like this helps you speak English not just correctly, but naturally. The big takeaway here is that stringing these specific actions together creates a totally relatable micro-narrative of coming home. Think about the logical flow. I take off my shoes, I turn on the light, I put down my bag. If you can visualize yourself doing these exact things in your own hallway, you aren't just memorizing, you're living the vocabulary. Section 3. Navigating the train station, the commute. All right, let's step out into the public sphere and tackle a highly practical sequence where your vocabulary really needs to be sharp. If you've ever felt anxious about navigating public transit in a new language, and honestly, who hasn't? This step-by-step logic is your antidote. From I arrive at the train station, all the way through I listen to the announcements and I find my seat, organizing the source material into these exact sequential steps gives you a complete, confident action plan. It mimics your actual physical journey, which just makes the language incredibly intuitive to absorb. Section 4. Clothes shopping essentials. Running errands. Continuing our day in the life, we're hitting retail, which is another environment where chronological vocabulary is absolutely vital. Nailing this exact 5-step shopping sequence means you can confidently walk into almost any store in English. It's a universal transaction, right? You look at the clothes, you try the jacket on, check the price tag, go to the cashier. Instead of panicking at the register, you can literally just mentally check off these sentences. You become the protagonist in your own shopping story, completely equipped with the exact verbs you need. Section 5. Cooking and eating meals. Winding down. Finally, we've reached the end of the day. Stepping into the kitchen to prep a meal step by step. Notice how mastering highly specific action verbs like peel, crack, and stir brings the entire culinary process vividly to life. We go from, I put oil in the pan, to, I peel an onion.
These are tactile, sensory words. The source material doesn't just broadly say, I make food. It gives you the texture of the experience. I crack an egg. I taste the food. It really makes learning the language feel as rewarding as cooking an actual meal.
And walking through this logical post-meal cleanup reminds us that conquering repetitive, daily routines covers a massive chunk of our everyday conversational needs. Just look at the repetition of the word dishes. You wash them, you rinse them, you dry them. The beautiful thing about daily life is that it's repetitive. And repetition, that is the absolute best friend of anyone trying to learn a language. Just as this source material notes the students are walking into the classroom, I want you to think of this explainer as your virtual classroom, empowering you with the structured tools for daily life. We took a massive block of sentences and built a completely logical day out of them. You've braved the weather, cleaned your house, taken the train, gone shopping, and cooked a meal, all through the power of structured vocabulary. As we wrap up this Day in the Life explainer, I want to leave you with this. Mastering English isn't about memorizing random, disconnected words on a page. No way. It's about owning your daily routine and narrating your own life. So take a look at your own schedule for tomorrow. Are you commuting, cooking, running errands? Which of these daily scenarios will you confidently describe in English tomorrow? Pick one, step into it, and start speaking.